Okay, hi all, good evening. So today in this ad hoc session, we'll be discussing about frames in window function. So first of all, please confirm me is my voice is audible and screen is visible to everyone?
Yes, your screen is visible. Voice
Okay,
is
voice.
audible as well.
Okay, perfect. So I've created this practice table, and with the help of this, I will make you understand the concept of frames. Just a minute. Seven plus. Where is that? Where is that? So this is the data I have created. With the help of this, we'll try to understand the frames. The table name is practice. So this is a practice table. Let me zoom this. So this is a practice table. And here we have data for different dates, 6 February, 7 February, 8 February. And these are the different revenue number I have taken. So don't get confused. The dates are consecutive. It can be anything. Okay, just to keep the data simple, I have taken consecutive dates and I have taken some random numbers. And suppose this is a revenue. Okay, this can be salary if you're considering an employee table. It can be anything else. Okay, and please ask question if you have any. Now, I will start from scratch. So suppose if I have to find the total sum of revenue, I will write sum of revenue from practice, and this will give me the total revenue, right? This is very simple, and this is based on the aggregate function sum. We know this. But sometime in the business requirement, you have to understand that how the total revenue is increasing or decreasing. Okay. I will request everyone to go on mute, please. Thank you. Okay. So now I will show you this example with respect to window function. So suppose we have this transaction date, we have this revenue. I will use sum of revenue over order by transaction date. And let's say this is cumulative revenue. I'm giving the alias as cumulative revenue from practice table. We have transaction underscore date here. So now if you will check this data, so this is the output. Now I think most of you, those who have attended my session on window function and cumulative sum, I have covered this in each and every batch. So hope you understood that how it is getting derived. But the confusion arises here in this case, right? So if you see here, so this is 300, this is 300. So now 300 plus 400, this will give 700. 7 plus 4 will give you 1100. 11 plus 2, it is 1300. 13 plus 6, it is 1900. So as per this trend, we think that this should be 19 plus 100, 2000, right? But no, this is where I think most of the candidates, they get confused. 19 plus 100, this should be 2000. But we are a bit confused, okay, why it is 2200 and the next value as well is 2200. So here is the confusion. And then we expect that, okay, 2000 plus 200. So this should be 2200, correct? So actually what has happened here, to see these two dates, they are similar, right? 11th February. So on 11th February, we have two separate rows, 100 and 200. So this particular window function, what it will do, when you have multiple revenues on one particular day, so engine, what it will do, it will sum of this, means it will consider 100 plus 200, 100 plus 200 as 300. Okay. And then what it will do, it will do 1900 plus 300. And that is why it is 2200. Because on 11th February, net the transaction is 300, right? So 19 plus 300, it is 2200. So is this clear to why it is showing 2200? And the business justification, see, we cannot tell that this is incorrect. We cannot tell this is incorrect. The reason is, if you will think this data from the business perspective, so on 11th February, what is the total revenue? 100 plus 200, 300, right? Correct now? If someone will ask you, okay, what is the total revenue on 11th February? So of course you will tell 300. So it means till 10th February, the total revenue was 1900. So now if someone will ask you on 11th February, what was the total revenue? So 19 plus 3, 2200. So if you will see this data from the business point of view, so this is correct. On 11th February, till 11th February, the total revenue is 2200. Is this point clear?
Yes, sir.
First of all, you understood, no, okay, why it is coming as 2200 and we expect it should be 2000 and why this is not 2000. Is this point clear to everyone? कुछ
Yes.
अगर यहाँ पर डाउट है तो यार पूछ लो कोई भी. This is clear, right? Okay. Now you might be thinking, Tanveer, okay, it is fine. On 11th February it is 300, but why? Why the data is saved in this format, 100 and then 200? Why directly they're not inserting data in this practice table like 11th February 300? They can save in this format, not directly 11th February 300. They will not keep this record. So why they're keeping 100 and then 200 separately, right? So actually what happens, there is a concept of manual adjustment, and it happens when in any ETL project, when the business stakeholders, they do the reconciliation, and if they find that some transactions are missing, then they will ask you to do the manual adjustments. That is one ETL jargon. I don't want to enter into that detail. So that is why sometimes you will see for a particular date, multiple transactions will be there. And from the technical point of view, you might be confused, okay, why they have sent one record with 100 for 11th February, then 200 for 11th February. What is the reason? So this is the reason sometimes the stakeholders or the source team who is sending data, they don't have the complete picture, okay? Or sometimes they miss it. Then they will again send the data. Although this is not appreciated and recommended. Okay, so that is what this is a task of data engineers. So if you're facing this type of data, so either you have to reject the file or you have to contact with the stakeholders why they're sending data in this format. And that's an entirely different topic of discussion. I don't want to enter that discussion. But as of now, is this clear? Okay, why when I executed this query, I'm getting 2200 and 2200 here. Is this point clear? Then I will proceed further.
Yes.
This is clear to everyone, right? Okay, good. Now, I will show you some other examples so that you can understand the different type of frames and Few other examples we'll discuss today. Okay. I have few handy codes which I will show you here, and please ask question if you have any. I do understand it is little bit confusing topic, but if you understand from scratch, you'll find it easy. Okay, so I will try to cover most of the scenarios here. So this is another piece of code. So if you compare this query 1 and this query 2, so you will notice, okay, most of the things are same. The only difference is I have written something here, right? Correct, no? Apart from this, everything is same, right? Apart from this, everything is same. Sum of revenue over order by transaction date. Till here it is same. But this is something new. So we'll start with this. Now let me keep this query here. Let me execute this. This is the. Let's try to understand this. What is the meaning of this? I have already explained in my regular SQL batch that any window function, you have to read it from here, if you remember, right? So here I have mentioned order by transaction date in ascending order. So you could see like this transaction date is in ascending order, right? This is in ascending order, correct? Now, then I have mentioned here rows between unbounded preceding and current row. So this is what we have to understand. So what is the meaning of this? Okay. Now the meaning of this is we are telling SQL engine, SQL, please calculate the total sum for this particular arrangement of data based on this transaction rate in ascending order. But there is a condition. This is the condition, rows. It means I'm telling consider only those rows while calculating the sum which is between unbounded. If you'll check the dictionary meaning of unbounded, it means you are not defining any boundaries. Is this point clear? Unbounded means you are not defining any boundaries. Unbounded preceding and current row. It means you are telling to please find the total sum of revenue for the current row and the preceding rows. And it should be unbounded. It means there should be no restriction, no limitation. I will explain you this. So SQL engine will start with the first record. So this is 300. Before 300, do you have any other transaction?
No, sir.
No. So that is why it is as it is 300 is 300. Now the next record is 400. Now this is the current row. So for this case, if I will ask you what is the current row, which I have written here, current row. So current row, what is the revenue? 400. Okay. Which rows you have to consider here? Current row and the unbounded preceding. So current row is 400. Now the question is, what is the meaning of unbounded preceding? Here unbounded preceding means all the rows before this 400. So before this 400, how many rows you have?
One row.
Only one row, which is 300. So you are telling to find the sum for this current row and all the previous rows. So 400 plus 300 will be how much?
700.
That is what you are getting here, 700. Is this point clear? Okay. Now for this record, similarly, what is the current row? 400.
400.
And what will be the unbounded preceding for this? It means, tell me the rows, all the rows which are present before this row. So the rows which are present before this, 400 and 300, right?
Yes.
Correct? So it will be 400 plus 400 plus 300. So 8 plus 3, 1100. That is why you're getting 1100 here. Is this point clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. For this row, tell me what is the current row?
200.
Current row is 200. What are the unbounded precedings? It means all the rows before this row. What are the rows before this? Tell me.
400, 400,
400, 400, 300.
Very good. So what will be the total value?
13.
1300.
1300.
That's why you're getting 1300 here. Is this point clear? Is this clear so far to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, can you check for this why it is 1900? This
Yes,
row
600 plus
and all the
1300.
previous rows. Similarly, this is now here is the difference. Till here, you might be thinking, and now listen very carefully. Okay, this is very interesting topic. Now, till here, you might be thinking, Tanvir, what is the difference here? Here and here, I'm getting the same data, right? To compare this query and this query. So till here, the values are same. No, this is also 1900. You're getting same values, correct? This will make the difference when you have the duplicate. It means for a particular day when you have multiple transactions. Now this will make the difference. When your engine will reach this point, now tell me what is the current row?
700, 100.
100.
100.
100.
And all the rows before this row. These are all the row before this row. Got it? It means 600 plus 200 plus 400 plus 400 plus 300. So what will be the total value? 2000. That's why it is coming as 2000 here. Here is the difference. In this case, what has happened? You have just mentioned order by transaction date. So here this query will consider both the rows for this particular day and it will add it. So instead of this, it will consider this as 11th February 300. But that will not happen here because explicitly you have mentioned a SQL, I want the current row and all the preceding rows. So the SQL engine will not dare to consider this record when you're just standing at this record. Is this point clear?
Yes, sir.
Then when you will reach the next row, so now for this row, tell me what is the current row?
200.
200. And unbounded preceding means all the rows which are before this. That is the meaning of unbounded. It means all the rows which are present before this. I want all the rows. And when you will sum up all this, you will get 2200. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you understood the meaning, no? That unbounded preceding and current row. Okay. Now, when you are not writing anything here, that unbounded preceding or current row, when you're not mentioning anything, so what will happen in this case? When you have multiple records with the same date, engine will internally add up this. And that is what is happening here. 100 plus 200 is 300. So 19 plus 300 will be 2200. You're getting the same value. I'm not telling you this is incorrect. It purely depends on the business requirement. If your business is asking for this data, you have to use this condition. If you're telling them I want the final total cumulative, then you have to use this query. Okay, now are you interested in few other scenarios, or because this was asked in the group, so that is why I have explained. Let me explain few more scenarios. Okay. Now,
So I have just one question. Can
Adi,
we
yes.
just swap them as well, like rows between current and so it is supposed to be unbounded preceding
Current one and
and
one is
current row.
I will come to that. Multiple scenarios are there. I will explain one by one. Okay. I'm just coming to that. Now let's say we have this query 3. What I have written here, unbounded preceding and unbounded following. Can anyone guess what is the meaning of this? Any idea? Any thought? Come on, just give it a try.
All the rows
Maybe
above and all the rows at the
below.
bottom.
Sure, correct. What you have told is correct. See, let me execute this. Now, this is the data. I want someone to explain this, what is happening here. You might be thinking very strange output, but just give it a try. Anyone?
So basically it is going to like the first row and there is no row above it, so it will be 300 and but there are rows following it, so the sum of all of them will be 2200. Then it will go to the next row, sum of all the rows above 300 plus 400 and sum of all the rows below as well. So total
Very
will
good.
be 2200 and so on.
Correct. Understood, no? Everyone?
Yes.
Okay, let me explain this. If you have understood this query, so this is following the same pattern. Okay. Let's take this example. When the engine is at this particular row, okay. For this particular row, tell me the unbounded preceding. It means the rows which are present before this. Do you have any row which are present before this? No. So I'll mark it as 0. Now the next is unbounded following. Following means the rows which are present after this. So you have all these rows including this, right? That is why it will consider all these rows. And that's why now the total sum is 2200. That is what you're getting here. Now, when we'll go to the next record, now for this, tell me the value of unbounded preceding.
300.
300. And unbounded following means all the rows which are present after this and including this as well. So unbounded following will become all these rows. So net, you're again considering the entire row, no? Which is 2200. That is why you think 2200. Is this point clear?
So current row is inside unbounded following as well.
It is getting covered inside this only. Now this table which I am showing you, this is just a prototype. Accordingly, you can modify, you can keep any date, any revenue. Okay. So this point is clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, so clear. Okay.
Yes.
Now you will show few more scenarios. I know few of you will be having some other commitments. If you want to drop, you can drop. But if anyone is interested, you can continue. I will just share a few more interesting scenarios. Okay, so now the next is query 4. Now see, when I will execute this one, you're getting the same thing, no? See, you're getting the same output for this query as well. So actually, when you are just writing this, so although you're getting the same output, but the query meaning is different. Here you are telling you want the total sum of revenue. Within over, have you written anything? Order by or something like that?
No.
We have not written anything. So it means you're tell me the total revenue. So that is why it will add up all these things and it will give you the total revenue for each and every date. And this is exactly same as this. Okay. Now let me show you another example. So if you're not giving anything order by within over, it will find the total sum and it will show you the same thing for each and every record. Now next query number 5. This is a little bit confusing, but again, the very first query which I have explained, if you have understood that, you will answer this one. This is the query, and this is the output. And let's try to understand this one. So you have written here order by transaction date. Okay. After that, what you have written? Rows between 2 preceding and 2 following. Okay. Now check this. When you are at this particular row, okay, 2 preceding and 2 following. So preceding means, do you have any row before this 300?
No.
So it will be 0. Correct. 2 following. Tell me the rows which are present, including this and after this. 300, 400, and 400. Correct. So now what is the total sum of this?
1100.
1100. That is why for this particular record, you're getting 1100 here. Is this point clear?
Okay.
Yes, sir, clear.
यहाँ तक तो सब कुछ clear है ना सबको?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, similarly, let's analyze for the next record now. For this one. For this particular record, 2 preceding. Tell me the 2 rows which are present before 400.
It's going to be just 300.
300 and 0.
Just 300. 300 and 0, but let's consider 300 only. Okay. 2 following, including this. Tell me the next 2 rows.
400, 400, 200.
So it means net for this particular, you are considering this as well. So what is the total value? 1300. That is why you're getting 1300 here. Is this point clear?
Yes, clear.
Okay, fine. Now, on the similar argument, I think now you can verify for other records. For this 400, tell me the 2 preceding rows. 300 and 400.
Yep.
And tell me the 2 following.
400, 200, 600.
So these are the 2 following. What is the total? 1900. That is why you're getting 1900 here. Now I hope it is clear to everyone.
Yes.
Understood how it is getting executed, everyone?
Yes.
Now, okay. So that is what I thought. If you understand the basics, that what is the meaning. So now you can check this for anyone. Okay. Now let me show you a few more examples. Okay, just one more example I want to show you. Now for this one, I will not explain. I want someone to explain this. What is the meaning of this one? I'm not going to execute this. First of all, explain this. What is the meaning of this?
So Tanvir, it's saying the accumulation of each row with the above two rows and one row next to it.
Okay. Okay. So let's do the analysis. So if I'm considering, just a minute. If I'm considering this first row, so it means I have written here two preceding. So what are the two preceding rows for this? What are the two preceding rows for this?
There isn't any.
You don't have any, right? It will
Yeah.
be 0. And one following
400.
400. So what will be the total value for this?
700.
700, right? So you will get 700 here, correct? Okay. Now, if I'm considering the second row now, this one. So for this, what is the two preceding?
Only 300.
Only 300. What is the one following?
400.
400. So for this two preceding, I will get only 300. One following, I will get 400. Total will be how much?
1100.
1100. Now then, tell me quickly for this particular, this row. Two preceding
400, 300.
400 plus 300.
And 200.
One following 200. So following is 200. So what is the total value? 1300. That's why you get 1300 here, right? I'm executing this. You verify the output. This is the output. Please verify, are you getting the same output? 700, 1100, 1300. I hope it is clear now.
Yes.
Okay. So similarly, you can check for any other conditions. Okay, just one last scenario I want to cover here. Okay. So let's say this is query number 7. For this, tell me. This will be the last scenario. This is the data. What is the meaning here?
4 rows above to it and the current row.
Very good. Perfect. I think now you all have understood this. Clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so let's 1 minute. Same query I have written here. No? This one. 4 rows and this one. Correct. So for the first row, what will be the output?
300.
300. Okay, let's do the analysis here. So if I'm considering this first row, 4 preceding current row, what is the current row here?
300.
Current row is 300. Tell me 4 preceding
0.
0. The total will be 300, right? Okay. Next one. What is the current row?
400.
400. 4 preceding rows only 300, right? So 4 plus 3, it will be 700. Similarly, now tell me what you will get for this.
1100.
1100. For this,
13.
13. For
1300.
this,
1900.
1900. For this, what you will get? For this, what is the current row?
100.
100. 4 preceding, 4 rows before this. What are the 4 rows before this row? Correct? Yeah, na? 4 rows before this row. So now what? These are the 4 rows preceding this. So now what is the total for this?
1700.
1700. So you'll get 1700 here.
Yes.
I'm executing this. You check the output. So this is the final output. You can verify this. Please verify. 300, 300, 700, 700, 11, 11, 13, 13, 19, 19, 17, 17. This is 1500. So before this, we have 4 records. 1500. Got it? Fine, then I will stop here. Hope you all have understood how it works. Do you have any other question, anyone?
If we have
Tanvir.
any null in it, so it will just add it up basically.
If you have null, it will be considered, but like that summation doesn't works. Doesn't works means you will not get any value for that, right? So that is why it will not be considered.
Yeah. And just one more question. Can we swap these current row before and for preceding
Yeah.
after?
Sorry. Someone has asked. I think you have asked in the beginning. It will throw error message because that is incorrect from the syntax. I think if I have understood your question correctly, so you are telling, okay, I want to keep this first.
Yes.
This is what you're telling, right?
Yes.
So this query means it will throw error message. The reason is it is incorrect from the syntax perspective. So let me show you that. It is throwing error message. Right. Okay. Any other question?
Range is also works similarly, right?
Range. It works similarly. So maybe next time I will take a session and I will cover it. Thanks for highlighting it. So I will cover it. I thought of keeping it just for 30 minutes, but we extended. The next time I will cover it. Please mention that in the alumni group.
Sure.
Okay. So fine then, I will stop now and the recording will be uploaded on my YouTube channel. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.